back, everybody, to 31 1980s horror movies for Halloween, where I'm counting down my favorite horror movies from the 1980s. So, at number 16, we have a movie that gives you exactly what it promises from the title, and I will go out of my way to say this is one of the greatest horror titles ever made, and that is Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Yes, this movie is silly. Yes, it's goofy. Yes, the premise can be considered kinda dumb, but in the best possible way. But I'm just gonna say this. If you're a person who goes into a movie called Killer Klowns from Outer Space, and you're shocked that it's goofy, that it's silly, and it's not Oscar-worthy material, I'm sorry. If you go into Killer Klowns with that mindset, you are dumber than Killer Klowns from Outer Space. And I'm not saying you have to like this movie. I'm not even saying you have to watch this movie. If you see the title and think, no, I don't want to watch that, I get it. But if you choose to watch Killer Klowns from Outer Space, you have to understand that you're going to get something silly.
Malonda.
And Killer Klowns from Outer Space is silly, but it's also one of the greatest killer clown movies ever. I would argue it is the best killer clown movie ever. I'm one of those people who thinks Pennywise is overrated as a horror movie villain. I get the popularity, okay? There are a lot of people who like scary clowns, and I enjoy a good scary clown too. But for me, Pennywise isn't as scary as he could be. I've never viewed Pennywise as a legitimate threat. I understand the fear of clowns. I completely understand the fear of clowns. But I just never found Pennywise threatening enough. And Pennywise never really worked for me as a scary clown. The reason for that is the only thing about him that was clown-esque was the fact that he was a clown. The only clown things about him were he played with balloons and he did his weird dance. For me, if you're going to make a villain in a horror movie and you're going to make that villain something, then you should embrace that part of what they are. You know, if you're going to have a killer mechanic, you should embrace the fact that the killer is a mechanic. If you're going to have the killer be a high school teacher, embrace the high school teacher part of that killer. With Pennywise, he was a scary clown, but they never really embraced the clown part of him. And that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I understand that's just me. It works for many other people. I understand that's a me problem. But that's why, for me, Killer Klowns from Outer Space is the best clown horror movie. Because the characters in this are clowns. They act like clowns. They do clown-esque things. They kill people in clown-esque ways.
Are you okay?
I think so.
Come on.
Popcorn, why? Popcorn!
Because the clowns, that's why.
The premise is silly. You have these clown-like aliens that invade this town, and they're trapping people in cotton candy cocoons. Boom, right away, you get the clown theme. They have this laser gun that encases people in cotton candy. Their spaceship is a circus tent. Again, they use cotton candy guns. They have popcorn shooters. They kill people or capture people with shadow puppets.
Holy shit!
Believe it. And you gotta give it up for the clown creatures in this movie. The Chiodo brothers, they both directed and did the effects work for this movie and wrote the script and all that, but these are some impressive looking clown creatures. They stand out in the horror genre as unique monsters because they're not just clowns, they're clown-esque monsters. And it's just a perfect image, and it's a great design. The movie embraces this idea. It takes full advantage of this crazy concept. I said this a million times on my channel. One thing that bugs the hell out of me is when a movie has an idea, whether it be silly or crazy or whatever, and they don't really do anything with it. They have it in some of the movie, but the majority of the movie is people walking around or doing things completely unrelated to the crazy idea. Now we have Killer Klowns from Outer Space, which just says, hey, this is a clown horror movie where we're embracing the clown side of things.
Huh? Jesus! Oh no! Come on, Joe! Get going!
The characters are fun, too. I mean, they are the right amount of silly, but what's great is they treat this threat like it's an actual threat. And this is a horror comedy that leans more to the comedy side of things, but it's still a horror movie. And in a horror movie, the threat has to be treated like a threat. And these clowns are treated as a threat. There's a scene in the police station, which is a legitimately creepy, atmospheric scene. And as silly as the idea is, they do add a little creepiness to it, specifically in this scene. I've always thought that the jail scene from Killer Klowns from Outer Space is one of the most atmospheric horror scenes in a clown horror movie.
Don't worry, Dave. All we want to do is kill you.
But it's a movie that's legitimately funny and legitimately suspenseful in certain places. The clowns have this cartoon logic to them, but everything outside of the clowns is still subject to reality. The people are still subject to physical laws, not so much the clowns. So that's why these clowns are able to do all these horrible things to these people and keep the suspense and keep the tension throughout the film. Something I have always wanted to see, and I know it will never happen, but I would love to see it. I would love to see a crossover of the Killer Klowns from Outer Space versus Star Trek. It would never happen, I know, but it would be awesome. One can dream, right? I mean, yeah, one of these days it would be great if they just said, fuck it, let's have fun. I know the Chiodo brothers have been wanting to do a sequel for Killer Klowns for a long time. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but it should. I would love a sequel to Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the best clowns in the horror genre. You're free to disagree with me, that's fine, but I love them, so what can I say? I love these clowns.
What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?
Damn!